In 1931, a photographer in a biplane flew over the Peruvian desert and spotted something no one could explain. Stretching across a mountainside were thousands of holes, carved in perfect rows. For 90 years, no one knew who made them or why. American explorer Robert Shippee photographed them from his biplane during the first aerial archaeological survey of South America. His photos appeared in National Geographic in 1933, bringing the site to worldwide attention. The locals called the mountain Monte Sierpe, Serpent Mountain. This is Monte Sierpe in the Pisco Valley of southern Peru. The site contains roughly 5,200 holes, each about 1 meter across, arranged in rows of 7 to 9. They stretch 1.5 kilometers up the slope of a barren hillside. The holes are stone-lined, half a meter to 1 meter deep, and organized into approximately 60 distinct blocks, separated by thin strips of empty ground. Lead number 1, Graves. In 1953, explorer Victor von Hagen hiked to the site and described the holes as unused pre-Inca burial pits. He noted their uniform size and stone-lined walls, but decades of investigation found no human remains, not a single bone, tooth, or artifact typically associated with burials. The grave theory went cold. Lead number 2, Extraterrestrials. In 2014, the History Channel's In Search of Aliens featured the site alongside the nearby Nazca lines. The show suggested the holes were landing markers, energy collectors, or evidence of lost technology. The fact that the pattern is best seen from the air fueled claims it was built for beings who could fly. But no physical evidence of any non-human origin has ever been found. The alien theory gained traction because Monte Sierpe sits on the same plateau as the Nazca lines, just 120 kilometers to the southeast. But there is a critical problem. The Nazca lines date to 200 BC through 600 AD. Monte Sierpe was built at least 400 years later by a completely different civilization. Same desert, different people, different era, different purpose. Other theories came and went. Water storage, but the holes are open-topped and permeable. Defensive fortifications, but they offer no strategic advantage. Agricultural pits, but Pisco receives just 1.5 millimeters of rain per year. Guano storage, plausible but unproven. For decades, Monte Sierpe remained one of Peru's most stubborn archaeological puzzles. In 2015, archaeologists Charles Stanish and Jacob Bongers reopened the case. They deployed drones for the first high-resolution aerial survey of the entire site. What the drone data revealed was remarkable. The holes were not random. They were organized into approximately 60 discrete sections, blocks, with specific numerical patterns. Some sections contained 9 rows of 8 holes. Others had 6 rows of 7 plus 1 row of 8. Then came the breakthrough. The team collected soil sediments from inside the holes and analyzed them for microscopic plant remains. They found pollen from at least 27 different species, including maize, sweet potato, cotton, chili peppers, squash, and amaranth. None of these crops grow naturally in this arid environment. Someone had deliberately placed them inside the holes. The evidence pointed to one civilization, the Chincha Kingdom. From roughly 1000 to 1400 AD, the Chincha ruled this coastal region of Peru. They were legendary traders, sailing balsa rafts from Colombia to Chile, exchanging gold, silver, and sacred seashells. Their population reached 100,000, and Monte Sierpe sat at a critical crossroads, where coastal and highland trade routes converged. Bongers proposed that Monte Sierpe began as a regulated barter marketplace, like an ancient flea market. Mobile traders, fishermen, and farmers would converge on the site, depositing goods into designated holes for exchange. The stone-lined pits kept products organized and separated. The blocks of holes functioned like market stalls, each assigned to a different trader or product category. Around 1450 AD, the Inca Empire conquered the Chincha. Just 6.4 kilometers from Monte Sierpe, they built Tambo, Colorado, a major administrative center with a large trapezoidal plaza. The Inca repurposed Monte Sierpe from a marketplace into something far more systematic, a tribute collection and accounting system. State officials called khipu used the site to measure, record, and tax the flow of goods through the valley. The researchers called it a landscape khipu. The Inca famously used khipus, knotted strings, to encode census data, tax records, and historical accounts. At Monte Sierpe, the 60 blocks of holes mirror the structure of an actual khipu recovered from the Pisco Valley, which contains roughly 80 groups of knotted cords. The mountain itself became a giant physical spreadsheet, each hole a data point, each block a column, carved into the earth. Lead author Jacob Bongers put it simply: one of the benefits of scientific work is debunking claims that deprive indigenous peoples of rightful ownership of their past. The Band of Holes was not built by aliens. It was not left by a lost civilization. It was engineered by the Chincha and the Inca, two of South America's most sophisticated societies, as a tool for commerce and governance. Questions remain. Why is this monument found only here and nowhere else in the Andes? How exactly were goods measured and distributed across the blocks? And what happened to the marketplace tradition after the Spanish conquest in 1532? Monte Sierpe may have given up its biggest secret, but it has not given up all of them. For 90 years, Monte Sierpe was called unexplainable. It took drones, pollen analysis, and a fresh pair of eyes to reveal what it always was: a record of human ingenuity, written not in ink or string, but in stone and soil.